Oh, hey there. This doesn't look like the Midships studio now, does it? I'll address where I am coming up. Plus, Celebrity Cruise Line marks the final ship returning to operations, which is a huge deal for the Royal Caribbean Group. We'll talk about that, and Carnival's being a little braggadocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, as a matter of fact. Let's talk about it. Roll the intro. Hey, welcome to the Midships channel. I'm your Captain Corey, and I'd like to formally welcome you aboard the Carnival Sunshine. We're cruising right now just east of Orlando, Florida at the current moment. I left from Charleston, South Carolina yesterday afternoon for a 5-night cruise, and tomorrow morning, I get to wake up at Carnival's private island, Half Moon Cay. And as a matter of fact, this happens to be the exact same cruise that I'm hosting for my group cruise this October. If you're interested in joining me, there's a link to a Facebook page for that group in the description below this video. You should check it out. I'd love to have you join. Now, we need to get into the cruise news of the day, but first, it's time for the question of the day. And today's question, with tonight being formal night on my cruise, I thought what better time to ask, do you like to go to the cruise formal night? Are you the one that's getting dressed up in your suit or your fancy cocktail dress? Or are you heading to the buffet for formal night so you can dress down and just be casual? Let me know your answer down in the comments below. And if you subscribe to this channel, when you see my cruise blog that's going to come out in like a week's time from this trip, you'll know the answer for me if I like formal night. Now, let's get into today's cruise news. We've got to talk about rock slides in Alaska messing up some cruise plans. And also, probably the big story of the day, the Royal Caribbean Group's 63-ship fleet is all back to sailing. Finally, the restart is complete for Celebrity Cruise Line, as the Celebrity Infinity just set sail from Port Everglades yesterday afternoon. Now, stunningly, the Infinity has not hosted a guest on board for 881 days, which is a darn long time. So welcome back, Celebrity Infinity, and congratulations to the Royal Caribbean Group, finishing your great cruise comeback. Have any of you out there in the Midships family sailed on the Infinity? Looks like a little smaller class of ships, maybe a little older, but it's got a great look to it. I love like the black and white paint job on the side, very stunning. Have to get on board that ship sometime. And speaking of getting on another ship sometime, there's some rumors here about an Alaska cruise coming up in the next month or two for Captain Corey. So make sure you subscribe if you don't want to miss out on the next big cruise announcement for this channel. And since we're talking about Alaska, we need to talk about an early morning rock slide that happened the other day in Skagway. It actually ended up damaging one of the cruise ship docks there, right next to a ship. Luckily, no injuries occurred, but the dock has a big old hole in it now. This all went down at the White Pass Railroad dock up in Skagway, Alaska, and apparently there was even some minor damage that occurred to the Discovery Princess as well from the rock slide. That's a brand new ship, but luckily, like I said, no injuries of any kind have been reported, and in the meantime, ships are going to have to be diverted to other docks or tender in. Unfortunately for those sailing on the Quantum of the Seas that day, they had to miss their port call to Skagway altogether because of this. And you can see here, we have a tweet from Must Read Alaska showing some of the damage that occurred up there. That's a hole punched through a concrete dock. You know those rocks were coming down with some force to do that. Now just take a look. Thank goodness nobody got between the rocks and the ground on that one. What a blessing. Now, one of the good parts of cruise ships, even with the dock damaged and somewhat out of commission, already the cruise lines are stepping up to provide the Alaska experience they promised their guests, with Carnival even offering tender service to get their passengers into port still. So luckily there are still options, and hopefully this doesn't have a major long-term impact up in Skagway. Now, the rest of today's episode, it's going to focus squarely on Carnival Cruise Line. In the intro, I said they're being a little bit braggadocious, kind of like me when I tell you about how amazing my cruise shirts are that I sell in my Amazon store. Don't you love this cruise nerd shirt? It's one of my favorites. Now, if you'd like a shirt like this or to check out my other designs, there's a link down below, take you to my Amazon store. But let's not talk about that anymore because we're talking about Carnival Cruise Line. They say they're turning cash flow positive and pretty quickly, according to their CEO Arnold Donald. He said Carnival's aggressively ramping up their cruise operations, driving a higher occupancy rate on their ships, and focusing on increasing onboard spending. In fact, they think the 2023 season for Carnival will be the biggest year ever for the line, as they expect to carry 14 million guests. Part of this great recovery and this good news for Carnival is the fact that they've learned they had to optimize the way they do business, which is why they're getting rid of most of their older, smaller, less fuel-efficient ships and bringing in larger ships that can carry more passengers. And on those ships, they just happen to have more expensive rooms and use less fuel, so it's a win-win for everybody. And one way they're planning on bringing in more rooms on bigger ships is by using the Costa Cruise brand. They're going to bring the Costa experience by Carnival here to the US over the next 2 years. Now, I previously reported on this, but Carnival plans to bring 2 of their Vista-class ships that sail under the Costa brand to the east and the west coast of the US, starting in 2023. And essentially, they're doing that because cruising in North America right now is way more profitable than it is in the European market. And I'm sorry to my European Midships family. I know some of you out there. Thanks for loaning us a couple of your big, beautiful ships. And we've got some more good news for Carnival, who I guess is on the glow up today. They're actually loosening some of their restrictions when it comes to unvaccinated cruisers. Anybody who's unvaccinated, age 12 or older, if they're cruising under a vaccine exemption, which means they're allowed on the ship despite not being vaccinated, with Carnival, they're actually able to now go ashore and enjoy Carnival tours or independently go ashore all together when the ships come in port, regardless of their vaccine status, which basically is a lot of words to say. Even if you don't have your shot, you can now go in port and get off the ship for Carnival, which you couldn't previously do, at least if you were 12 or older. Now, this will not apply to every single port because all of these port stops are individual countries with their own laws and regulations. So I have a list of ports that you still can't get off in if you're unvaccinated, 12 or older. So there are a handful of ports, and they include San Juan, Bonaire, Grand Cayman, St. Kitts, Tortola, Grand Turk, and Cartagena. And remember, you can still cruise right now with a cruise line like Carnival, even if you've just chosen not to receive your vaccine. They are giving vaccine exemptions to cruisers now. Not everyone will get it. You're not guaranteed to get on board, and you do have to pay your cruise completely off. I know there's a lot of you out there that message me and you say, Corey, I want to cruise again, but I'm not vaccinated. I didn't get my shot, or I couldn't get my shot. Whatever the reason, if you want to cruise badly enough, you can pay your cruise in full with Carnival and hope you get the exemption. So that's how it's working right now. So wow, that's the cruise news for today. Now I want to give you a quick little update on my cruise here on the Carnival Sunshine. Like I said, I'm doing the 5-night cruise, and if you missed yesterday's Sail Away live stream, I'd encourage you to check it out after this episode. I'll pin it in one of those little cards that shows up right at the end. It's about 15 minutes long, and we had some great interaction with everybody that joined in the live chat. Thanks to everybody who showed up and participated. I'm really starting to notice a lot more of the familiar names of people that are just showing up time after time. I see you out there. Now, it's formal night for me. I know I teased earlier that I'd make you wait to learn if I'm going to participate or not. But as you know, old Captain Corey, he likes to dress up. So there's a good chance you're going to see me in a little sport jacket here for tonight's vlog. So if you made it this far into today's episode, make sure you subscribe to the channel with the bell notification turned on. And if you really enjoyed the video, leave me a thumbs up. Thanks for stopping by the channel today, and until tomorrow, we'll see ya on the Midships. La 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 la.